原来呢他没有太注意我们呢，就是他原来就是我们确实不行，他还瞧不起你，他别的事也忙，对吧？就耽误了。现在你真是逃回不了了。现在你看我们13万亿吧，今年 GDP， 日本是5万亿，我们是日本的2.5倍。你现在就是蹲下来，你个子也比日本高啊，对不对？所以你这物理上掏不住了嘛，对不对？原来小宝宝是可以掏的，现在你这个大块头你怎么掏啊？对不对？人家美国人说早看见了掏怎么掏啊？现在掏会就有点自欺欺人了，知道吧？
俺妈的啊，树头子都比牛子，看这个村啊，这个村的猪头子都比养的猪头牛走了，人。
家乡，对着自己高唱，任那旋律心中回荡，把我最美的时光留给我爱人的家乡，想象着最美的时光留给我爱人的家乡。想象着最美的时光，留给我爱恋的家乡。
中国已经不是101年前的中国了。我们希望华盛顿的那些人好好的思量一下，如果在今天还想借疫情对中国进行甩锅推责、打击霸凌中国，他们必须要好好的思考一下，14亿中国人民会做出怎样强有力的反应。
抖音，
我方当然还是会持续的争取台湾方面的一个参与哦。那当然，我们也是呼吁WHO 应该要秉持中立、秉持专业的一个原则，要去实践它的全民军舰 Health for All， 以及他们自己标榜的不遗漏任何人 ，Leaving no one behind， 不遗漏任何人，当然是包括台湾。而在我们现在全球都面临武汉肺炎的一个严峻的挑战的时候，我们全球的防疫工作当然更不能够遗漏任何人。而且需要各方摒弃政治的一个考量，通力合作，才能够让全球的防疫网没有漏洞。在这一方面，台湾我们的一个防疫表现优异，我们有很成功的防疫的经验，我们有丰富的台湾模式 （Taiwan Model） 这样的一个宝贵的经验，可以跟所有联合国的会员国，可以跟 WHO、跟相关的国际组织、学者专家，我们都可以跟他们来分享。
看一下这3楼吹成啥样了，就是我们厂里这3楼。
是黑龙江牡丹江的。现在跟你说一下我们实体店的现状。
我们现在来店里大多数都是不开张的，商场里面也是没有人，因为我们经历了一次疫情，第二次的境外输入让我们又回到了原点，这是5个月，太艰难了，老百姓几乎都是没有存款，个体老板就几乎都失去了生意，很多打工的员工也都失去了工作，我们身上有太多的要钱，房贷、车贷、老婆孩子、老人，我不知道别人啊，就是说我上超市的时候，我是几乎都不买贵的，专挑便宜的，或者是特价的去买，因为我的花销是只出不进的。但是真的不知道我们还能支撑多久，甚至我们现在想出去打工都打不了。出去一个是需要被隔离，第二个就是说一听你是黑龙江的人，压根儿就是不用你。再一个现在换季的温差大，我们都不敢生病，也更是生不起病了。
Well, ahead of Friday's National Cabinet, Canberra is pushing the states to unlock the economy, fearing every idle day is causing long-term damage.
We need to lift these restrictions as soon as possible.
The National Cabinet of Federal, State and Territory leaders meets on Friday to settle on a staged retreat from lockdown.
The actual numbers, we expect that they will rise. That's something we will take into account.
But Australia can't continue to pay the billions needed to hide from the disease.
South Korea's government ministries are preparing to tighten their belts. The Finance Ministry on Wednesday released detailed guidelines for the 2021 budget plan, asking each ministry to cut its spending for next year by about 10%. The Finance Ministry said it plans to save costs wherever possible to deal with a sharp increase in government spending and worsening tax revenues due to the impact of the virus.
India has seen its biggest single-day spike in COVID-19 infections linked to an outbreak at a fruit market in the southern city of Chennai. Overall, the government or the country has more than 47,000 cases. Still, India has moved to ease lockdown restrictions across the country. In Delhi, people are slowly returning to work, but things are still far from normal.
The Delhi government has said the time has come to reopen the city, but with public transport still offline and curbs on the kinds of businesses allowed to operate, there is confusion about how that's going to happen.
Play or not to play? That is the question only politicians can answer. Germany's football league, the DFL, has revealed more than 10 positive COVID-19 cases so far. Following the initial positive cases, however, teams continue to train in compliance with distancing protocols set by medical experts.
Digging graves in St. Petersburg, Russia's second city for victims of COVID-19, a scene that's becoming more common. On Tuesday, the country reported the highest number of new coronavirus cases in Europe. And while much of Europe looks to ease restrictions, the Russian government says they'll stay in place until there's a vaccine.
The U.S. Air Force confirmed that its B-1B Lancer bombers conducted training in the East China Sea, according to a recent service news release. On Tuesday, the Pacific Air Force's public affairs press release said that a 9th Expeditionary Bomb Squadron B-1B Lancer lands at Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, May 4, 2020, after completing a training mission in the East China Sea, said Sumangal. We're excited to be back in Guam and proud to continue to be part of the ready bomber force prepared to defend America and its allies against any threat.
After China's lies and deceit about the coronavirus, the American public, I think, is finally beginning to get it. They're seeing the communist nation for what it is, an enemy of the United States and of free people everywhere. A Pew Research poll last month showed that 2/3 of Americans now have an unfavorable view of China.
China has erected the world's largest censorship regime to hide the truth from its own people. Hollywood movie studios are part of that play. They play along with the Communist Party. To gain access to the Chinese market, studios in California have censored and rewritten American films to please China. The upcoming Top Gun sequel, for example, was censored. Tom Cruise's iconic flight jacket was changed. It no longer has a Taiwanese flag. This is an outrage, obviously. Senator Ted Cruz is infuriated by it and says it's time for the government to punish studios that grovel before their Chinese masters. He joins us tonight. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. How big is this problem?
Well, the problem of China generally is enormous, and I think this should be a wake-up call to the entire world, this pandemic that is playing out. The problem of censorship is a massive problem within China. China's own censorship and cover-up of this pandemic helped produce 257,000 deaths worldwide. And when it comes to Hollywood, Hollywood is not an innocent bystander here. Hollywood is fully complicit. Hollywood works with the Chinese censors. Hollywood has been willing over and over and over again. There's so much money at stake. You pointed out Top Gun. I mean, think about that for a second. The original Top Gun may have been the greatest Navy recruiting film ever made. They didn't just change the Taiwanese flag. They also removed the Japanese flag. Both of them were on the back of Maverick's jacket, and the studios didn't want to tick off the Chinese censors, so they pulled it down. What are we saying to the world, that Maverick is afraid of the Chinese communists? I'll give you another example, Bohemian Rhapsody. Fabulous movie, terrific biopic of Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen. The Chinese censors demanded that they edit out scenes showing that Freddie Mercury was gay, that he was homosexual. Now pause to think about how many Hollywood producers like to virtue signal about their courage and free speech and artistic integrity, and yet they happily try to edit out the fact that Freddie Mercury is gay. I mean it's extraordinary. And so I've introduced legislation.
Funny, I never saw a press release from the Human Rights Campaign complaining about that. I wonder why.
Not only that, I pointed this out the other day, and several LGBT magazines began attacking me. How dare Ted Cruz stand up and fight for gay rights? Listen, I am against censorship, and I'm against Chinese communists. Yeah. And by the way, I believe in truth. You can't tell Freddie Mercury's life without acknowledging that he was gay. It was a big part of his life, and he's an incredibly talented musician.
So in just 20 seconds, tell me what the Congress, what the Senate can do about this.
The Pentagon assists Hollywood over and over again with access to planes, ships, assets, about 1,000 movies. I introduced legislation that says you don't get to use Pentagon assets if you're going to cooperate with Chinese censors. We're not going to facilitate Chinese communist censorship.
You can watch later in the evening. G News and GTV put it in Mandarin so that the Chinese intelligence operation doesn't have to struggle through the English, but they can get to the Mandarin right away. So Wan Xishan, President Xi, good evening.
So they have three scenarios here: continue stay-at-home orders, partially reopening, all states fully reopen. Okay, so under scenario one, we continue stay at home, 117,000 deaths by the end of June, which still, that's a little bit of a
shocking number.
That's still a shocking number.
It's a shocking number.
But 18.6 million jobs lost. We know actually that's even a low ball, since the ADP is saying it's at like 20.2 just in April.
But hang on for a second. But that's the good 18 million jobs lost, not an increment. We got 30 million, and tomorrow we're going to add another. I don't know, Jack. What you tell me, 2, 3, or something like that. We're going to get to 35 or 40, some guys say 35 or 40 by the end of May. So when the model tells me 18 million, we've made back, by the partial reopening, we've carved back 12 million jobs?
Yes. But hold on. But then scenario two, where they say partially reopening, 162,000 additional deaths, which is a massive number, 14 million jobs lost.
So you've cut it in half.
Well, although from their scenario one, from the continue stay at home, 18.6, partially reopening, kind of the, you could argue the worst of both worlds, as we're going to get to over whether or not the 30 days to smash the curve worked and did what it needed to, at 14 million. But scenario three, this is where, again, I want to get to our man Captain Jack here and hand it over to him. Scenario three, all states fully reopen. And this is the key here. 350,000 deaths, which should floor everybody. When you talk about the enormity of the loss of human life, But the next line, and this is where the debate starts, only 500,000 jobs lost. So in continuing stay at home, 18.6 million jobs lost. Scenario 3, where all states fully reopen, only 500,000 jobs lost. Now, because they've combined these models, this is the first time where we're saying,
this is what we've been asking for. I don't know about the accuracy of this model, but here's what I like. You're finally putting in perspective what the decisions have to be and what this has to be. This is what I love about this. I think Wharton's done. We're not opining to is it accurate or not. The construct is a good construct of how to think about things.
What actual
one of the things that I think about it is everybody has been avoiding trying to calculate the value of human life in this thing. But let's be real. We have calculated it's $5 trillion and it's 20 million unemployed.
亲爱的兄弟姐妹们，好好解读川普总统的。我给大家就说4个最核心的观点。上海、深圳、香港的股市和人民币、港币，只要是不到那个程度，就嘎叽，他就不能说灭共。只要川普总统还是跟习近平同志还是哥们儿，还说我们是好朋友，不可能灭共。香港自贸区地位不取消，香港的抗议运动，美国不全面介入，不可能灭共。记住，最后中国党内的战友们不举拳头造反，迅速间砸平中南坑，灭不了共。我说完了，再见，亲爱的兄弟姐妹们，行吗？我再见了啊！我再见了啊！今天就讲这么多，高度关注今天重大历史时刻，我等了很久了，还好在我计划之中，在我们爆料计划之中。